Perfect.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Happy Sunday.
How we doing, guys?
I hate saying happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sun. Hey, we could go into full-blown Ren and Stimpy mode if you want. Happy,
Yeah.
joy. Happy, joy.
Yeah. Happy, joy. Yeah, that's it.
Now you're mad at me.
Well, Sunday mornings are good and Sunday afternoons not so good, because you just have to go back to work tomorrow and ugh.
Yeah, no lie.
Glenn says pre-Monday. Yeah, that's about it. Hey, Roger. Hey, Val.
Yeah.
Hey,
Saying hi to
Truth.
all of them now, too.
I know. And there's Gary and Freaky and oh my gosh, am I missing them? Everything just keeps going up here. We decided today that we're going to revisit Gettysburg because that last video we showed on last Sunday's show hit me and Randy like crazy. We're just like, look at this, and it's very compelling evidence. So Randy has worked tirelessly to find us a enhanced video close up so we can actually see what's going on, which if you've not seen it up close, it is fantastic.
Yeah. So when we get ready to get started, and you normally do your spiel, but since you seem to be having a little bit of a headache, and I'm gonna punch it out for you. I want to knock it out for you today, just because
Okay,
I'm a
let's see
nice
how good
guy.
you do, Randy. Let's go.
Oh no, they ain't no good about it. I'm just gonna do it. It ain't gonna happen with good. Good was not
Feel
a
good about it.
prerequisite.
Just do
All right.
it.
Okay. All right, guys. So after we get done today, you got 7 o'clock tonight instead of 6 o'clock. Yeah, we're at Texas Front Porch. You got Tex and Danielle going to be there with Infamous Minds. See, I told you it wasn't going to be good. Infamous Minds, and this week they're covering the Oklahoma Bigfoot murder, is what they call it. So they're going to be covering that one. So you might want to swing over there. And then you got tomorrow night, you've got at 7 o'clock, you've got Central Time. These are Central Time, mind you. These are Central Time. Tomorrow night at 7, you got Diva Dimension. And then at 8 o'clock, 8:15, sorry, they're shifting in about 15 minutes, give them a little leeway. But at 8:15, we start with Texas Front Porch. Tuesday night, we got Beyond BMR. And what else we have on Tuesday night? Nothing?
That's it for Tuesday.
All right. Okay, Wednesday we got Donnie Cho Says Stuff, and which this week is going to be me and Tex talking the Monday Night Wars, so that's going to be fun. You got that, and then we've got Inhumanoids with Barton Unley. That comes in at 8 o'clock, I believe. And then on Thursday night we have 7 o'clock. We have our newest show, Our Paranormal World with Monica Rollins, followed by the Blondes and Boos podcast. That's at 8 o'clock. And then on Friday nights, are y'all still doing 7 on Friday nights?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
7 o'clock on Friday nights. Then we now have at 7 o'clock we have Blondes, Booth, and the Woo. I've kind of even gotten away from doing the Woo thing. I'm just saying, okay, it's just two versions of Blondes and Booze. We got Thursday night and Friday night.
That's
so we
right.
got the Blondes and Blues again, and then after that, y'all feed right into Josh's Paranormal Roundtable. So
exactly. Are you reading that?
No, I'm not reading nothing. You got to remember, I'm the one that has to download all this stuff and put it out on the different shows and stuff.
Your daughter wants to know why you keep changing your title.
Oh,
are you having an identity crisis?
Monday night. I forgot. I was covering for her on Monday night, so I was the new Smith. I tried to find my wig so I could have the actual braids and everything too, but I couldn't find it. So anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, but see, and Saturday, obviously, we don't really have anything right now. We got a couple of people like to do late nights now on Saturday, so be prepared. We do have also Paranormal Paul with Paranormal Among Us. He does his show on Saturday evenings as well. So everybody check out all those shows, have fun with them, and if you miss them, go check out the podcast, because the podcasts are out on Spreaker and anywhere you can get your podcast downloaded.
That's right. That's
preferably Spreaker, because it's easier on me. All right, got it. Now,
Right. But I wanted to talk just a hair about
yeah,
Texas Show tonight. Just a hair.
yeah.
Because for anybody that doesn't watch the infamous Mind Show on Texas Front Porch, he's going
Yep.
on at 7 o'clock tonight. But this is again about the Oklahoma Bigfoot murders. And what it is this guy is using in his defense
Hmm.
that his friend says that he was going to feed him to Bigfoot. That's why he killed him.
Exactly.
So,
Can I give a
wow. And this
can
is
I
going on right now.
yeah, but can I give an update or can I give a spoiler alert on it? It
No, you
probably ain't
cannot.
gonna work. It probably ain't
You
gonna
can't.
work. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's not a spoiler. That's just common sense. That's not going
Well,
to work.
yeah, but
I mean,
you
Randy,
forget what
I could,
community we're in.
right. I could kill anybody and say, oh, yeah, they said they were going to feed me to a dog man.
Hey, how many times have you heard people say that the demons made me do it?
R- Right.
And how
Right.
many times has it actually worked?
Nah, no.
Maybe once. And then, but then the
Maybe.
guy went, and then they're committed for life. You're never going to see them out. They're still never going to see the light of day again.
Exactly. All that
So
happens is they don't have to go into a prison type environment and
no,
they get you know, corporal punishment
like,
off the
like
table.
Pancho. Pancho said it right. I did it because I could.
Right, right. I just couldn't imagine killing somebody. Oh, they said they were going to feed me to Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah. What's that?
Um,
How about when you call mom Bigfoot? Oh no, we're not talking about calling mom Bigfoot or no. Uh, that's a whole nother story now, and of course my daughter has to bring that up. I'm going to say it real quick, like though. I used to smoke. I used to smoke, and I used to fake quit smoking, and I would sneak around and get me a smoke whenever I could, type thing. And I went out to our back area, our backyard, and I in between two buildings, and I turned around. I wasn't smoking that time though. I wasn't smoking at all. I was actually just doing what country boys do. We go between the buildings and go pee. All right. You turn around. I turn around, and there she is behind one of the trees, looking, trying to catch up to me. I'm like, what are you trying to do? Be Bigfoot? From that point on, I called her Bigfoot, and my
oh, okay.
daughters remind me of it all the time. Yeah. So, yay, yay. All right.
Gary
So,
says you got to remember what shape they were in when he said it.
yeah,
I mean, we're going to have to watch Texas Show to figure it out, but
yeah,
he's still using that.
yeah. And
Regardless of what
he's
shape he
following it
was
all the
in
way through.
then,
He is
he's
not wavering
still,
from it.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
And
and as
one
far
thing,
and as
one other
far as
thing.
I know, drug related um, murders and things that doesn't help your case. That actually makes it
No.
worse.
Yeah, yeah. They
Hmm.
tend to look at you a little bit closer then. So,
Yeah,
um, and I'm gonna try this time. I'm gonna try to do a better job. I've noticed when I had um Jason on here. Now, remember, this show goes out to podcasts as well. I got to do a little
hmm.
bit better job of explaining some of these videos that we're looking at in pictures, so people that are listening to it can go, "Well, what the hell is he looking at? I don't know what he's looking at."
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
So we will start doing that. Not because everybody here can see it, but the people who can only listen and not see what we're looking at.
yep.
Um, that's
And I'm
that's
going to
where
get
we're.
scolded at the end. I already know I'm going to get scolded at the end because I did not fix the intro or the extra to show the email address at the very first of it and stuff is still at the end.
I
So
know.
yeah,
I've only
I'm
been
going
on
to
them
get.
about that because it's like we were like saying, well, send your stuff to the email, but you can't even see the email
Well, you can. You just got to stay through the credits. It's like a post-credit
all the
scene,
way to
people.
the
It's just
end.
like a post-credit scene. You just got to wait and see what the Marvel characters are going to do next. All right.
Okay, so tell us slowly what the email is.
RNG, the letters, not R and G. RNG, Romeo, November, Golf, Woodworking, Woodwork or Woodworking. God, I don't even remember now. Hang on, I'm gonna tell you real quick. I just went completely blank. Woodwork. Sorry. Here, you know what? Here, I'm gonna do this the easy way. There. How's that?
There you go. See, now you got it. Now you got it.
All right. So that's the email. If you got any evidence you'd like us to look at or dissect or say you have caught the greatest thing since sliced bread, let us know and we will make it happen.
That's
How's that?
right.
All right. Are we ready?
We are ready. On to the first video.
We're going to go right where we left off last week, obviously. Now, everybody remembers the soldier picture that was that, and you know what? I probably should show that just out of spite, shouldn't I? To remind people where we left off at.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, that
it still throws me off just looking at the picture, and then somebody told us. Obviously, Paul told us, and I think it was Glenn might have said something about it. They told us that there was a video out about it. So let's see. I'm going to share the screen.
yeah, Paranormal Paul was telling us about it too.
Yep. He was the one who told me where to find it and who to get it from. But this is where we left off last week. This is the soldier picture in front of the cannons. Now, after watching the video 9,000 times in the last week, just because I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life, just about, other
Right.
than, Patty and a couple other pictures and a couple other videos I've seen. But this was by far one of the best ones I've ever seen out of Gettysburg, for sure. But I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, okay, well, let me look at this thing. And I was like, okay, listen to these guys do this on this. Now, we're not going to show the whole video because it's somewhere else on YouTube. You can find that. I'm going to show the TikTok version, which is condensed down, so the sound is going to be a little bit off compared to what the other one was. But the way they reacted to it, I was like, okay, they weren't expecting to see this. And I didn't expect to see it either. I mean, they're talking about, the actual units over there, the 150th Field Artillery. They're talking about, the different people that are supposed to be in that area and where certain things happened on the battlefield. And then they stop and they park and this starts to happen. I don't know if you can debunk it. Quite frankly, I think you might be able to, but it would take a lot more than two guys sitting in a truck to do it. And that's from what I could hear and what I see. It is. So we're going to drop this now. Now, here's the TikTok version.
We're here in Gettysburg, just before the 150th. Where should I stop?
I am going to go ahead and mute this because, like I said, this is the first part of the audio, but this is the actual video. They did not change the audio at all.
They spliced it, so
they did some splicing. It's a typical TikTok thing. You know the deal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kill the audio there.
You see him walking at the back there?
Yep.
Okay, so there's the two cannons there, and then you see this figure coming up.
We can't tell how far back he is either, too. When he first manifests, I'll bring it back.
Right, we see this figure walking around the back of one of them and coming in between the
but
two.
He's coming from the wood line right there, it looks like.
Yeah, and it looked like he just kind of appeared.
Yeah.
And now he's walking between the two and walking around the first cannon that's closest to us in the picture. Now he kind of disappears there.
Yeah, he doesn't come back. This one doesn't come back.
Yeah, this one doesn't come back.
It was the other one that we'll see here in a few minutes.
Right.
All right. So I've seen overlays many times, obviously. We've seen it happen with ghost pictures. We've seen it happen with videos, where they've overlaid something to make it like a double exposure almost. And at first, if you're just looking at this and you're thinking about a double exposure to create the overlay effect, as he comes up, he wouldn't be cut off here. The overlay would cover the entire thing. So his legs and such would be seen at this point.
That's right.
And as he comes up and goes around, I mean, you see right there. I mean, I'm going to back it up. Look, as he's walking, you can see his legs behind the actual spokes. The spokes block it out. He is going between those two cannons.
Yes.
So, at first I would say, okay, this could easily be an overlay, especially when you look at just the picture. When you look at just the picture, you're thinking, oh, it could just be an overlay. It could be
Well,
a double
if you're
exposure.
looking at the actual photo that we had, which is of course just a snapshot of this video, it's about right where you stopped it, right there.
Yeah, right here, right in this area.
Yeah.
In fact, it might even be a little bit more. I'm gonna see if I can add it to the stage as well. See, it's a little bit more. You can see it almost like he come forward. So if we go back to this again, right there would be where that picture came from.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know that the picture has been a little bit enhanced and such. When I found it, obviously, it was out on the internet. So nobody would ever play with anything on the internet and make it look better than what it might actually be, right? So, but it's still confounding me. I mean, it really is, because overlays slash photoshopping slash, Adobe Premiere, movie making stuff. I don't see anybody, especially, maybe they did it after they got to that. Of course, that's where it walks away. But after they got to the truck, away from the truck and away from the area, maybe they took it and did some stuff with it. I don't know, but it doesn't seem likely to me. I mean, they reacted to this. So
you know how videos get once they're shared and enhanced and enhanced and shared. They lose, they become pixelated, and they lose a lot of what the original looked like. Now, if you back up to the picture, that looks like from the original. Yeah, that looks like the original.
Well, and that's the widescreen version of this that's out on YouTube. Obviously, the TikTok version, you're going to get squared up. You're going to get, maneuvered around, and then their stuff. It's probably not even 1080 like this one is. It's probably 720p. So it's a little bit less of a quality.
Right.
Is it enough for the
like I
human
said,
eye?
it's manipulated, and
and
that's why the original video is just so cool.
Yeah, and it's a YouTube video. I mean, I don't think they've got. Well, I don't want to take a chance on putting it up there and them get mad at me for putting it up there. So that's why I haven't done it.
Exactly. That's why you'll see a lot of the stuff that we take is from TikTok. YouTube we kind of leave alone.
Yeah, we just don't want them to bug us or beat us up or anything like that.
Exactly.
But even like we said with that one and with this one, just watching the movement of the soldier. I mean, and then it just disappears. The way it disappears there is another thing that caused me to pause, because it's like it went behind a mirror or went behind a wall. And once again, we're talking about, did somebody stage this? Did somebody put this overlay film on this to make it look like this? And
I don't think so.
I can't see any evidence of that. I can't see any evidence of the telltale evidence of a true overlay, because quite frankly, it should have been more defined. The figure would have been more defined, I think.
Well, not only that, I don't think they could have done it as well as you could see the legs coming through the spokes of the wheel.
Yeah.
That,
not at their level. I mean, unless there's some sort of movie producer I don't know about. I mean, if Doug's out there helping them out on this, maybe, I don't know, but I don't think he'd do it either. But either way, I'm just saying, do they have the means? Do they have the know-how? Do they have the wherewithal to even do it?
Yeah.
Just because you can't do it,
don't know. But it is compelling. Just by where it disappears, like right in front. It starts walking around the cannon, and then it just goes.
It just goes. It's like but it's in mid walk, and it doesn't just snap and gone. It kind of fades out as it makes that next step.
Yeah.
See what, as it gets to where it turns, it's going in front and in step and fade out.
And then gone.
And you're like, okay, what did I just see? Now, can you imagine if you were on the ground and saw that?
Yeah. See, this is where I have a hard time with believing that this is residual.
Yeah.
I don't believe it is residual, only because I know them cannons have not been sitting there since that man
No.
was there.
They've been
But they
moved
have
how
been
many times?
moved and
Yeah.
you know, pushed around and placed there.
Yep.
And so is it residual energy from the cannon, maybe?
Yeah.
Or is it residual energy from the property? But he's moving around those cannons, in between those cannons, like there's a purpose.
Yeah, or like he recognizes the cannons are there.
Something. I'm not thinking that this is residual. I am thinking that this is completely
An actual
intelligent.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing type
Right.
thing. I mean, because nothing, just like with the Alamo in San Antonio, it's the physical Alamo where it's at right now is not in the same place it was in 1836. Okay. So that physical Alamo, these physical cannons get moved by whoever needs to move it to wherever to make sure they get the most bang for the buck. Because, quite frankly, any of these things that you go to see, the Alamo, the Gettysburg, Manassas, that's a money grab. It's a tourist trap.
Right.
It's a straight out, and they can gripe at me, yell at me about it, whatever they want. But I'm telling you, it's a tourist trap. It's so they can make money, and that's because if they don't make money, nobody else gets to see these things, and they can't upkeep the stuff properly. And I fully understand that. But
Would you consider this? Dorothy says, Brandy, a lot of has been set the way it was on the battlefield, as it was that day.
yes,
Yes, honestly, but is it the same cannons? That
it's
we don't
supposed to be.
know. We don't.
Those
We
are
don't
supposed to
know.
be. No, we don't know for sure, but
And could they be exactly spot on by putting everything back the way it was? No, they can only go by drawings and things like that
yeah,
left for us
yeah.
to look at.
Well, and
But this
you know,
reminds me of something that we could have a haunted object.
yes, very well could. And like Bristol says, though, is that many of the cannon emplacements of Gettysburg have been placed as close as they could originally to
As
the
yeah,
original spot.
as to the original,
But they're
as
still
to
not
the
going to be
original.
exact. So if you're not exact, and I would postulate, that if it's not, oh, good Lord, big word. Hang on, time out. I don't know what the heck came out of me on that one.
Big
Oh,
words, big words.
big words. Okay. I would say honestly that even if they're not in the same spot, say they're even a little bit off, if it was residual, they'd possibly go through the cannons instead of, because they're
All
following
right.
a
Yeah,
set
but
line.
that's the comment that I made, that
Yeah. Yeah.
he actually was walking with a purpose
Yeah.
in between them
Yeah. He saw
and
them and
walking
went
around
around them. Yeah.
and went around. So, you know,
Yeah, I would say I'm with you on that. I would say if it's residual, it's got to be attached to the cannon, is what I would think too.
yeah, I would think it is a haunted object. Whether I don't think it in this particular case, I don't think it's the property. I think it's the object.
Yeah, it very well could be. And the only way we'd ever figure this out. Now, this is obviously from edited version of May 3rd, 2013 video. Why has nobody gone out there and set up a long-term camera to just see if it comes back?
Probably
Probably
because they
'cause
can't leave them out there, or they're afraid they'll be stolen.
yeah, most likely. I can understand that. So
But I mean, if I had seen that, honestly, I would be spending the rest of my trip at that
right
area to
there,
see
right there.
if I could get it to do it again or recreate it somehow, honestly.
The way I understood it from what I read on this, they spent another 2.5, 3 hours in that same spot trying to wait and see if something else happened,
And nothing else did.
and nothing else did. This was it. So they won the lottery and got something that they never thought they were going to see. Now I've seen other videos out there that are people say, "Oh, look at this soldier! This soldier runs between cannons or whatever," and it's nothing but, quite frankly, it's really nothing but as you're driving, you know how you can call it pareidolia, you can call it whatever you want, but it's like a play of light that looks like a figure going across, but it
Hmm.
goes so fast. There's no way it's an actual apparition. It's literally got to be associated with the movement of the car.
Right.
So
But I'm
anyway,
like I said, I am thinking that this is a haunted object. I really do.
yeah, because we'll watch it again just for giggle. I almost said it again, giggles. So,
Yeah.
blanking giggles.
Um,
And you see,
It
all of a
says,
sudden, boom,
Glenn says, although it looks like a Confederate soldier among Union guns.
yeah.
Now,
I,
I'm going to tell you this, that when they had won battles and things like that, they took all of the weapons available to them from them. So could they have, you know, someone else's, you know, weapons? Absolutely. So that, you know, that doesn't surprise me. I mean,
yeah, and well, and while yeah, we could say that's a Confederate soldier, but you know, we don't know for sure. I mean, I haven't seen an apparition that has been color conducive to anything really, unless it was, you know, a full blown apparition that you could actually, you know, see the color of the
right.
skin and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this
A
is just
full
a wispy.
manifestation.
So while this is quote unquote a very good manifestation, I mean, we may not be seeing an actual Confederate. It may still be a Union soldier. I just can't tell from the actual, you know, the look of that. You know, back up just 2 seconds. The look of that particular outfit as he comes around, that's probably the best look right there because it looks like a little sash is like going across there. That makes me think he's a cannoneer artilleryman right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or he's, as we
Yeah,
said in the
because you
Army,
can
he's
see
handling.
it. You can see it going
Yeah,
straight across him. I mean, that is
yeah.
a
He's either carrying a bandolier of ammo or he's carrying powder. That's powder. I hate to say powder keg, but it's not really a keg. They're powder satchel where they load.
yeah.
So
I hmm.
yeah,
I believe that the original video of this 100% is
yeah,
actual spirit activity.
yep, yep.
That I have not seen anything that would say otherwise.
And yeah, and it's so hard to see it. Unfortunately, I can't. Let me see. Maybe I am going to try. I'm going to try this. This is, and I'm going to move it around. You may hear us in the background still, but this is
Now,
going to be the full video. But I'm going to try and zoom it in, like what we looked at
right,
earlier.
right.
I'm going to try.
Crystal J says I don't understand haunted objects. I mean, when I pass, I don't intend to haunt my most favorite pair of earrings or a car.
Yeah,
Let me tell you about how many people are obsessed with material items in, you know, a car, a house, you know, jewelry. It's all kinds of things, even hairbrushes. It could be anything. It could
yeah,
be anything that they've attached themselves to, because either it's not their most beloved thing, but it's the thing they remember, you
yeah,
know, so they attach themselves to something like that.
yep.
Um, you know, who knows? This could have been a tragic event for this soldier. I mean, he could have been running around to light the cannon and then he was shot, or who
Yeah,
knows? I mean, it doesn't have to be a happy place. It could be a tragic place also that they cling to.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, well, and like sitting right beside me right here, I've got a 1968 New Victor
Victrola,
RCA Victrola, right? That
Victrola.
one
Mhm.
y'all, I showed y'all the video that I got it where it's playing again and listening. If anything was attached to anything, my grandmother would be attached to this. This thing was in my grandmother's house, and we listened to it
Or it's a
billions of
definite.
hours.
It would be a definite draw for her. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. If she was still here in some way, shape, or form, and I ain't gonna say she ain't because she's probably, I'm half liable. If I get smacked in the back of the head, you'll know it's her. So, but you know, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, they whatever they felt strongest with, or they can remember most after death, is what I probably should
Right.
say.
Right. It's
But
whatever that clicks with them. And like I
yeah,
said, it
like with
doesn't even
me,
have to be their favorite thing or favorite place. It
no,
could be in the tragic place. It could have been, you know,
yeah.
just something that they recognize. And so they're like clinging on to whatever in the human realm that they can cling on to.
Let's see, like I'm assuming Poncho. He said bass rig. He's either bass rig or bass rig. I don't know which one he's going. If he's talking about a bass guitar, I'm probably with
No,
the guy
no,
that's
no,
with it.
no. Bass.
Bass. Okay. All right. Just making sure because if I got a haunted boat, then I'm in world of hurt. But now I can guarantee you, if it's me, My guitars are going to have me on.
Well, we can talk about the Queen Mary at some point
Yeah,
and how
that's
that
not.
boat
Yeah.
is haunted.
Oh,
There is
that's
that.
on the list. Trust me, that's on
That's
the
on our
list.
list.
Yes, I've already started researching it. So, because that was
Right.
one just captures me every time it's on. It's on any show. It captures me because I want to. And I even watched. Was it the Ghost Hunters that did the investigation on it that time? It was the wet footprints, that they found.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, that's another bucket list. That one and
Maybe
your
we should
Waverly
do a
Hills.
show on haunted boats.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, because
Yeah.
people still say the what was it, the Britannic, the one that was associated with the Titanic, or was it the Olympic went down? Titanic went down. Britannic, I think, is still afloat or still as a museum, or it's the Olympic. One of the two. There was three of them,
Yeah.
and one of them, and it's still. They say to this day it's still haunted. I just don't know where it's at. I have to do some more research on it. So.
Yeah. They say that the one down in Alabama, in Mobile, that
Wait. Okay, wait a second. Time out. Whoa. What do you mean, how low can I go? What are you talking about? Bass? Is it bass or bass? Tell me what it is.
is it a fish or musical instrument?
Yeah. Tell me what we got. My kids already know that when I die, I'm being cremated, and they're gonna mix me in a gallon of paint, and they're gonna paint me on the ceiling so I can watch their butts.
Yes, Paul, you are absolutely correct. The Titanic Museum in Branson, Missouri is supposedly haunted.
Yep.
Yes, and it is.
You think so? I've
I've
never
been
been there,
there.
so I don't know.
I've been there. It is. It definitely is. It's definitely weird stuff.
Yeah.
You won't notice it as much if the museum is busy, but you will notice it more when it's not.
When it's nice and quiet.
Yeah, that's usually more at closing time.
Yeah.
When it's getting close to closing time, it gets real quiet in there at points, and you're just like, oh, okay.
So you tell me, night at the museum takes on a whole new life there.
Well, it does. I mean, you know, I'm going to say that the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, which
Mhm.
are,
Yeah.
very famous, they were on TV, had a TV show, blah, blah, blah. They had been there.
Yeah.
They do regular events there. So they basically take that place at nighttime and then have ghost hunting things going on. Zach Bagans and his crew were there and did a complete show on it, and I don't believe much in what he says.
But say you just sullied our podcast. Thank you very much.
I am so sorry.
I'm gonna have
But
to
yeah,
go
I
do about a bunch
recommend
of
going. I recommend going. You're gonna have to give
Yeah.
yourself a good 3 hours, 3.5 hours, maybe 4. But I recommend either going first thing when they open or try to, go when the least busy times. You usually can Google what their least busy times are and go in, during that time.
Yeah.
But there are things, there are noises that happen in there, and there's nobody in the room with you or whatever. But yeah, I recommend going because it brings out emotions in you, just by reading the history, going through the artifacts, things like that, and it's very an emotional journey. And I think that opens up a lot of leeway for spirits to start showing themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do
Well,
recommend that one.
now as we're talking about that, I was talking about the Olympic, Britannic, and the Titanic. Kevin Bode. That's something I didn't know before. Now I'm gonna have to look that one up a little bit, but if that's the case, things just got a little weirder right there.
No doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt they got a little weird.
So I mean, and he states, like I said, I'm gonna do a better job of explaining some of this stuff. The Olympic is the Titanic. It was insurance fraud. The Olympic was wrecked 3 times before the incident. So he's saying that this wasn't the Titanic at all. It was the Olympic. They just renamed it after the fact, or renamed it before it left. So they were thinking they were getting on a brand new ship that wasn't really brand new. So
I don't know that much history about that.
I don't either. I mean, I haven't researched it enough, but now that you tell me that about the what do you call it? The
Titanic
Titanic
Museum.
Museum.
Mm-hmm.
then again, museums should be haunted. As much history and as much stuff as is in them, they should be haunted.
I'm going to tell you that every museum that I have been in that's worth anything at all, some of them I think are a sham, but anything that has real history artifacts, I've had fantastic results at, from little ones to big ones.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do recommend going to those if you get a chance to.
Yep.
And actually, the small town museums are my favorite.
Oh, yeah. The little hole in the walls.
Yes. Yes.
With the local history in it and everything.
Yeah. They have the, just the little building, and they have like their local artifacts and things associated to around that area. Yeah. Those are good ones.
Yeah. And that's the same thing here. Like when you've been to the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going back.
When you drive into Mineral Wells, you notice the big Vietnam museum that's over on the left-hand side of the road.
Yes.
That Vietnam War Memorial Museum that's there, it's been a brainchild, and the Vietnam vets of the area are the ones that really have put that thing entirely together. I used to run a ultra race every year, not physically run it. I actually administered. I was one that took care of all the paperwork and all the stuff to do this race, because you ain't gonna see this boy run for 8 hours. It was called the 8-hour run from the Ducks. And these guys would
not gonna see this girl doing it either. I'll be like, hi.
Literally, I'm looking at these guys like, y'all getting out and running for 8 hours for what now? Is something chasing you? I don't know. That's it. But I would go out and set up the route, and my family helped out. I mean, we ran it, so we made decent little money, and it went toward the building fund for that Vietnam museum. We ran it for 10 years. And I drove by it the other day, and I see the buildings up and everything. I wanted to go in, but then I started thinking people don't even realize what that area really had, because if you pull into Mineral Wells, to the right, it's called Walters Industrial Complex now. Used to be called Fort Walters. Fort Walters was where all the Huey pilots were trained before going to Vietnam.
Yeah, and see, I wonder, on those things, I've never actually gotten into a military type museum and been able to. Now, I've been into museums where they've had a military section, but I've not been into a full-on military museum, which that's on a bucket list for me, because I really want to see and hear what comes back from that.
Yeah, it should be interesting, because, like, Fort Bliss has one there that's the Air Defense Artillery Museum, and it's been done several times. Changed here, changed there, but it's still got the artifacts that was in it from before. But those artifacts may not actually have residuals or anything like that, because they're inanimate pieces. They were talking about shells. We're talking about, rockets. We're talking about pictures. But there's a place called the Pershing House, which was the house of John J. Pershing back during the the Spanish-American War time frame, when he was running stuff down there.
Yeah, I would assume that in like that Vietnam museum, that everything would be kind of like attachment kind of hauntings and things like that, things that got comfortable being in that specific facility. But when you get into somebody's home where they lived and breathed every day, except when they went to these horrific things and came back home, the energy and the vibrations that are left in those houses and on those properties has got to be just crazy.
Yep. I mean, between his and the several different areas, like I said, there was one building on Fort Bliss that at night the MPs would not go into. Didn't matter what was going on; they would not go in there at night.
Right. Well, Krista had just got something, and she did tell me about this. I've not been able to listen to it yet, but I'm excited to listen to it. But she said she got an EVP of cannon fire also. Where did you get that at? Krista, I can't remember exactly what place you said it was, but I mean, yeah, she's out there. So's Letitia and Paul.
I see Letitia. Yep.
So I mean, it's not just Gettysburg that's holding these, these wartime hauntings. They're everywhere.
Any battlefield,
just have to
battlefield.
Learn your history.
Yeah.
Learn
I
your
mean,
history. Yeah.
Manassas up in that general area is the same way. Manassas is the same way.
hmm
And you and Krista can vouch for in Missouri, Centralia. I mean, you talk
Yes.
about bloody Bill Anderson and the early days of the James guys.
Right. Right. Exactly. So, I mean, if you're thinking about like going to Gettysburg, hey, look around your area.
Oh, she caught the drums at Centralia. What we were just talking about.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what you were just talking about. So
Yep.
check around your area because I mean, you could have, maybe a 5-hour trip.
Yeah. And they're there. They are
hmm
there. Okay. We
but
got off on a
by
little
all
bit of a
means,
tangent.
if you can get to Gettysburg, go.
Yeah. Oh, that's just a trip by itself. I mean,
Yeah.
just folklore alone. Just folklore alone. So, Shiloh, yes. Shiloh. I'm assuming that's what Kevin is talking about. Shiloh over there. So,
Oh yeah.
okay. Now we're
Yeah.
going to look at this next video. I found this one when I was doing the stuff out on TikTok, trying to find the stuff for the cannons. This is one, and I just showed it to you the first time you saw it as well.
Right.
So this is a video of an apparition going across the road. Now, I have not done any real research into it other than just what it says on the video. Now, I got it on loop right now, and as you can see.
Okay, so we're looking down kind of like a field, but it has like a sort of road. You see tire, you can see where the tires have worn in, but it's not a complete road. And we're seeing this apparition walking across this little road from like a field to a field. It's not very wide. And when you see this apparition walking, you watch it disappear like right in the middle, and then it reappears like in not a blink in, blink out. It's kind of like it evaporates and then comes back.
Yeah, it's almost like it's being followed. It's almost like there's really two apparitions if you look at it. Okay, so I'm going to try and bring this up, see if I can get this to a full screen layout. No, it won't let me do what I want to do with it. So,
I mean, I wish we could see more from side to side.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
but I don't know if they had a standing camera there, or is if this was a residual person, like a residual haunting that just keeps walking across that, and they just set a camera there, or if they. It looks like it.
Judges permit. I'm saying it's a static camera. They've set it up and left it there.
Yeah, it looks like this could be like something they caught the residual haunting walking across this. This path.
Okay, so we got this guy going across now, and he comes from the right all the way across, and then he's gone. Then boom, here comes another one from further out, and he disappears right in the middle. Then we got this one again. But they don't look like the same person, do they?
Oh, see how it reappeared in the middle?
Yeah. I'm going to go back to the very first.
Okay, so we got this one here. The first one.
First one. Yep. Then the next one comes from way over here and comes across. But it disappears in the middle.
It disappears right in the middle. But watch, wait till the third one comes out.
This one right here.
Now watch the second one reappear.
Boom, right there.
Boom. See it?
Now, honestly, this just honestly to me, if you're going to create something like this, that's a lot to go through. I mean, because I don't know what you would do to actually recreate that.
Krista says residual. That's what I'm leaning on too. That's what I'm leaning on, because if they had that camera set up, sitting there waiting, that means that that this is something that
has been
happens
reported
quite
before,
a bit.
probably. Yeah, and seeing it happen the way they're doing it as it's going across again,
because there's the first one again.
And I don't think it's the same figure, because it looks like one of them going across is actually walking at port arms with his weapon.
Okay, so then here's the next one who disappears.
Yep. Now this next one, he comes up. I believe it looks like he has a weapon. See, it's almost like he's walking. He's got hands out in front of him. Like this.
Yeah. Okay. So then the second one reappears again.
Yeah. So
that is quite strange.
Troops moving in formation is the only thing I can think of, and it's a residual of that. That's what it kind of looks like to me.
It has to be with the angle, and to be sitting there that long and catch it, that means that this has happened before and they're catching
Yeah.
it on film.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if somebody was standing there holding that camera, it had been moving right with them. They might not
Yeah.
have caught all three of them because they'd been following another one.
Definitely. I mean, and you know, that's textbook, just like we looked at last week with those soldiers in the wood line. They were going up and back behind the trees and such.
Right.
That was a residual. This is a residual. I mean,
Right.
you know, there's got to be residuals all over that battlefield.
Kevin asked, could this be seen with night vision? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It,
You can see a
and
lot of stuff with night vision. Absolutely.
while this one here isn't night vision, yeah, in fact, the vast majority of this stuff you see is caught with night vision. A lot of it,
Yeah.
or right at the dusk when when it's just when cameras are trying to switch between their night filters and their day filters. You know, it's at that twilight time that you just can't. Now this one, I think this is more of a morning time. It looks like to me.
Or right at dusk, right at dawn or
Yeah.
dusk, either or.
It's just hard to say because I just don't know what time it was taken. But usually, if you're not going to hear somebody out on Gettysburg, somebody running around somewhere in Gettysburg area, it's going to be early morning. It's going to be late in the afternoon, early evening, or maybe late evening, I should say, dusk time. Other times of the day, that place is busy with people, sightseers and such.
Right.
So,
Well, Moon says security cam is a possibility.
yeah,
No. I'm going to say no. Security cameras,
that's
they
not a
just don't
driveway.
have the
So,
clarity. They just don't have the clarity that this video has.
yeah, I would think this. Well, I would say being it's 2009, I would say no because I mean you're talking about probably max 5 megapixel max.
Right.
So this is a static camera that somebody set up for the purpose of capturing something, and
Yeah.
and the security camera I don't think would be in the center of a dirt road.
Right. And Devin says the tall grass doesn't move on any of them.
No, it does
Exactly.
not. And I mean, just like we talked about with the Canon guy, you see this guy, he blocks out the center, and then he blocks out until he just disappears. She blocks out. I say she. It looked like a she at first, obviously, but he kind of blocks it out too. So as they're going across, they're blocking out what's behind them.
Yeah.
And you could even see
let's wait for
moving.
the second one to walk.
You can see
No,
the feet
that's
moving.
definitely a male. It had pants. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it's just the way it came out of the. Honestly, when you look at the second one, when it comes out over here, it looks like a lady coming across it first. See?
Mm-hmm.
But then when he gets out there, you can see the legs and such. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And residual hauntings, yes, it's what's called a loop. They're on a loop that
Yeah.
they just keep repeating the same moment, this blip in time, over and over and over again.
Yeah, and you guys, honestly, y'all sitting there talking about this, and they don't lock this place down. You can go out at night. You can sit there out at night on the battlefield, and as long as you're not, in the areas of the actual battlefield that's actually cordoned off and considered as hallowed ground or whatever you want to call it, as long as you're not messing with that, if you're out on the little side roads and stuff, you can stay out there all night long and take all the videos you want, all the pictures you want. You can do all the investigation you want. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. There's nothing
Jason.
more chilling.
Right.
There's nothing more chilling than seeing that or what I'm about to play next, the one we talked about before this.
Well, play this one because this is very chilling.
Yeah. Let's make sure I got the right one here. Okay, Just like Freaky said, you heard the drums, right?
Yep.
When this was taken, supposedly there was no reenactments going on at the time at all. No preps, no nothing. This was from what I understood, it said it was a weekday. Okay. So the drums you're hearing, where are they coming from? First of all, and if you look right here, he's on the battlefield. This is part of one of the areas of the actual battlefield. This is the field out in front of him.
Right.
So as you're hearing it, you hear it start faint, kind of gets a little bit louder, and stops. Now, if it was actual drum corps or drums for the battlefield, it wouldn't have stopped unless the formation had stopped, and it wouldn't have stopped that quick. And it takes its time coming back in, as you hear, and then it comes back, and it's still in and out. And then it sounds like it's right there next to you.
I don't know. It's just like, it's not only the fact that, we're hearing these things and they're not supposed to be there.
No, they're not.
But what it signifies to me just gives me chills. It's kind of like when you hear those drums, somebody's going to die. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, I don't know, it just chokes me up a little bit. It's scary. It's chilling. It's just like, and that's what the history does to me. It gets me very emotional, especially with stuff like this, because you're actually hearing the sounds right before somebody's going to die.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It just makes me very emotional. It's one thing to hear the cannons and the the things that that you associate with war, but once you hear that, you can actually picture them in your mind, what they're doing and what's going to happen.
Yeah, because I've marched in many parades, and you hear people when they're talking.
Right. Krista says, sounds like Sherman's march to me, played during Civil War as they are marching into battle. Exactly. That's what,
That's the first thing I was thinking right there. Now, like you said, Krista, would they stop at those spots that we were talking about? They would keep rolling. That drum would not have stopped. It would have kept going the entire time they're marching. So, and like I said, I can only go off of what people said, that there weren't any reenactments going on at this time. So this one kind of gets me, like you said, because of the sound, first of all, and I know what the drums mean. Those drums, even though they sound like, hey, it's a march or whatever, that's keeping those troops in line as they're marching to battle. That beat is keeping them all in time, going straight forward as fast as they can go, without running, until that charge is either sounded by the bugle or they have to kneel and take a firing line, skirmish line. So
I don't know.
Okay, she said, so those drums would not have stopped if they were marching it. If they were marching it, unless the charge was given, those drums would have kept going the whole way.
So what do you think happened? Do you think that
I think it's an echo of the past.
Okay, so if you think it's residual, do you think they actually stopped, or we just stopped hearing the loop and then it began again?
We just stopped hearing the loop. Stopped hearing it, because if it was real deal, I mean, and anybody that's done the reenactments, like Krista said, it doesn't stop. They literally until the skirmish is started, or skirmish line, and most time it'll keep going at that, even then, until the drummer's knocked out.
Well, Bristol says there may not have been reenactments, but there might have been in practicing somewhere nearby. Absolutely.
Yeah. Could have, and we don't know that for sure. We really don't, but I can only go off of what was stated with the video, that there were no reenactments at the time. And Glenn's right. Sherman's March was that following year, but the name of the drum line that is being played It's called Sherman's March. It's to keep the lines in tow and keep everybody, dressed right and moving as a unit at the same time.
And oh, yeah, because you wondered how everything would have turned out if they believed in guerrilla warfare back then. I'm just saying, not to bring that up or to even talk about it, but I wonder if the wars it would have changed
That's
the
when we'll talk
outcome.
about Centralia next. We'll talk about Centralia when we want to talk about guerrilla warfare, because
Mhm.
there's the guy that started it all. If you want to get right down to it.
There you go. There you go.
So
But like I said, I wondered if it would have changed the direction of the war. If they
there's
were
the words I was trying. That's the words I was trying to say. Sorry, I wasn't trying to say the march part. The drum cadence, like when you hear a drill sergeant singing cadence to his troops when he's walking them, when he's marching them from place to place and such. That's
right.
when the drum is actually taking the place of the drill sergeant. So anyway, sorry. Flashback. Got it. Now,
There you go.
okay, I got one more.
Okay,
And you
let's
didn't
go
hear
one
this.
more.
You didn't hear this one very well the last time, so I'm
I
going to put
can't
this one
hear
out.
it. So if you can turn up your volume at home, turn it
Yep.
up because I can't, and so I can't hear it. So you're actually gonna have to tell me what it's about. What can
Yeah.
you hear?
I want to see what everybody else hears first. And Kevin's right again. Both sides do the same things due to the officers and going through military school together, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
absolutely right. You couldn't tell the difference. I mean, if they were too close together and the Union was doing their drum cadence, it could have easily affected the guys on the Confederate side and vice versa. It just depends on how close they were.
Right.
And quite frankly, by the time they got close enough to do that, they were probably already in open warfare at that point. So,
Right.
okay. All right. So here we go with this one. Now, y'all, like I said, turn your volumes up and listen a little
Turn your
bit to this
volume
one.
up, or if you got earphones on,
Yeah.
something,
That's why I think
because
that's why I
I
can hear it better
cannot
than you
hear it.
can.
Yeah, I cannot hear it.
1990. I was on a
Wrong one. Wrong one. Sorry.
That was quick. Wrong one.
All right. Here we go.
Way up in old Linville Mountain, where the bear and the Catamount range,
All
there's a
right. So they
strange
tacked that
ghostly
on there at the
light
end.
can be seen every night that no scientist or hunter
Yeah, that
can
could be any one of
explain.
100 things right there, obviously. So,
Yeah, I don't take much stock in that. Like I said, it's so
no,
grainy and
it's something they threw in at the end. So, now the shouting is what gets me. And there's several of them said somebody shouting. And it sounds like somebody hooting, not hooting and hollering, but hollering like they're yelling out commands and such. It's just yelling. Yeah, see right there, I can hear definitely what sounded in the background right there. It sounded like somebody that was in a charge mode hollering as they're running into battle. That's what it sounded like to me. But you can't make out any of the words. Right there. Now I'm going to send you this afterwards so you can actually listen to it with headphones when you get a chance, so
yeah.
you can hear that part. Because that whole area right there, the whoops I heard, I didn't attribute them to the battle or anything. I attributed them to just wildlife in the woods. Now,
Might be a
do I
dog or
think?
something.
Yeah, do I think there's a Bigfoot in there? No, not one bit, because there's just too many people around there. You think, or too many,
Daily
because it is kind of
visitors.
rural. Yeah, but
But then
these are,
again, how do we
yeah,
know?
we don't. That's the problem, because it is rural and there is a lot of area out there. Like that right there. It sounded like I know where she's kind of sounded like almost like a whoop, but it sounded more like shouting to me, like somebody in the distance.
Pancho said he's willing to bet that that's real battle sounds because because it was so intense.
I'm with him on that. Like right there, that whoop 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 that I just heard, that sounded like a bird to me. That one right there sounded like another. I don't know if it was a bird or some other wildlife, but because I can't really tell from that sound, it sounds like a bird to me of some sort. But that part, no, that's battlefield. That's battlefield cries right there.
Right.
That's straight out battlefield cries. Oh, I'm with you. We should invade the front porch one day and just do nothing but Gettysburg.
Yes, Krista. Yes. I'm saying yes. I'm like,
Yeah.
I absolutely
Tex,
think so.
Hey, Tex, we're taking over your channel for a little bit.
No, she's talking about the whole Texas Front Porch group going to Gettysburg.
Oh, wait. Oh, a trip. Damn, I thought we were just taking over the show. Okay. Yeah. Well, gee, let me think about it. Okay.
Mutiny.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time I've done it to him.
Right.
Okay. And that pretty much covers all the ones that I have. But I mean, you guys, I don't think I've got anything on here that we've listened to or looked at today that I could put a tinfoil on at all. Honestly.
No, I can't. I mean, I can't.
Yeah, and
It's the evidence is super compelling. Like I said, at the beginning of the show, that I can't say for sure that if it were something else. I mean, of course, the audio that we were hearing about the drum cadence and is it possible? Yeah, absolutely possible that somebody was out there and they were just practicing. But let me tell you how many times they do reenactments in Gettysburg.
Yeah.
They don't have to really get out there and practice. They're doing the same march every single time, every single week.
Every week.
I don't think that they would have to practice, but that's just my opinion. I mean, they could. We don't know what time of year. It could be the first, they're getting out there and getting, warmed up for the rest of the year or,
exactly.
teaching new drummers. Who knows? But
yeah. I mean, we don't know. I mean, but Lord. I mean, that place, and this is the one place and the one area other than the Patterson film, Patterson Gimlin, that I go into almost fanboy mode on, because Gettysburg is so, and it's so cool to me, because having to deal with military history for so long, especially in the Army, every NCO school you go to, what's the first thing you do? You start studying more of the military history. What happened with this war? What happened with that war? We were studying, defense in depth, which really started because they did it with the Battle of the Bulge. But it really started with Napoleon back against the Russians back in the 1700s.
Well, Krista was talking about reenactments that they just give them a brief overview of what they're supposed to reenact, and then they go to it. We were just talking about the drumline practicing the particular march, and I mean that could be possible, but if you're doing it at Gettysburg on a weekly basis, there's not really much practice needed.
Would it be the same drummers every single time unless they were sick? And you probably got a backup, you would think.
You would think, yeah. So but that's just my opinion. Now that's not saying that it didn't happen. You know.
Let's see. I want us to put something right here. You have any other?
I don't know
bids?
What we should try next week. Should we go after like ships?
You've been dropping that hint for about 30 minutes now, so I'm guessing I'm going to be
thinking so. I'm thinking we should go after haunted ships. Just because like the Bermuda Triangle, and they talk about finding these ghost ships and that there's nobody on them coming out of that triangle, and there's a lot of evidence out there.
There's a lot, and like I said, we could do a whole show alone on the Queen Mary, just by itself.
Right.
I mean, but there's
the Queen Mary is wow.
And the one you were talking about down on the coast of Texas, you're talking about the battleship Texas. That whole area is haunted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we can find a lot about boats. I think we should do that. I think we should go after that.
All right. Now I am going to get with. I got to get with Krista when she's available, because remember the gentleman that took the Waverly picture.
Yes.
I wanted to get her in to talk about his stuff and see what we could see and look at some of that stuff if she'd be willing to do it. But I got to figure out when she's going to be available and not staying up all night on Saturday nights doing crazy stuff with Rob.
Hey, I was there.
Well, she's here too, which is kind of cool.
And she's here too. See.
I didn't even get drunk last night. What the heck?
Right. But Sundays are usually her family time. Something must have happened where she could actually get on and listen to us tonight. But yes, well, I'm thinking about it. Infamous Minds does come on at 7:00 tonight. Don't forget to tune in. It's the Oklahoma Bigfoot Killer.
Yep, and I'm going to be going over to listen to see what they got to say about it for a little while, and then
it's
it's
amazing because this guy's got a screw loose, and you know he does.
A screw loose? That's an understatement. That's a major understatement.
I didn't say what screw loose. It could have been the main one,
Yeah, he got a sprocket gun is what he's got.
Can't keep all his Fruit Loops in the box. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, don't talk about my cereals. All right. Okay, what is that, Poncho? You could call it boats and booze. Beast, boats, and hoes. Yeah, I'm not going to go there, Poncho. No, I like not getting hit. Okay. All right.
Okay,
well, guys,
I guess we're done for this week.
Yep.
We weren't realizing that Tex was going on at 7 tonight, or we would have had a lot more stuff to go over.
I kind of like it at the hour because it doesn't bore everybody for too long too. So, and I tend to, if I go over an hour, I start to ramble, kind of like what I'm doing right now.
Well, it's a good time for dinner for me, so that's where I'm headed.
Well, there you go. All right, let me see. Not banners, where I'm at. Okay, guys, we will see y'all next week. Same true time, same true channel. Ooh, I sound like Adam West now, don't I?
Ooh.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.